Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. We're back with another preview and predictions episode. We got another fight night, third fight card in the last week or two. So stuff's finally starting to pick up. And this card is another one that it's kind of like the last one on Wednesday. It's okay. No incredibly good fights, but they're all pretty good names and should be a good night. We're just going to go over the main card like last time, and guess we'll just get right into it. So first fight, Song Yadong versus Marlon Vera. Don't know much about Song Yadong. He had one fight in the UFC. Finished Alejandro Perez, who's a decent fighter, in the first round, knocked him out. I remember when he fought, they were kind of making a big deal about him, like acting like he might be a pretty big up-and-coming guy. And he's taking on Marlon Vera, a guy who's had a pretty up-and-down UFC career. He's been in the UFC since 2014. He's on a decent win streak right now. He won 3 fights in 2019 and won 2 out of his 3 in 2018. But out of all those, he hasn't really had any big wins. Like, I can't really, looking at these wins, they're not guys that I really recognize. Andre Ewell, Noheen Hernandez, Frankie Saenz.
He's looked really good his last few fights, though. And he's a guy that a lot of people have been talking about, and everybody's really thinking, he's on the right track in his career, and he's been looking pretty impressive. This is the 4th different opponent that he's been supposed to fight since February. He had 3 canceled fights already this year. And I don't think any of those have been his fault. I know the coronavirus stuff kind of canceled 1 or 2 of those. But it's been a different opponent every time. So he has been in a long training camp. And, all kinds of different people he's supposed to be fighting. So he's going against Song Yadong now, who probably somebody he doesn't know a whole lot about, just with the one fight in the UFC where he looked good. But, yeah.
And out of all these fights that got canceled, they were really good opponents. He was supposed to fight Jimmy Rivera, Eddie Wineland, and Ray Borg. So this is a guy that the UFC probably has high hopes for and thinks is really good. Obviously, he's on a pretty good win streak right now. But I'm going to go with Song Yadong. I remember his fight when he knocked whoever he fought out. I remember watching it and being really impressed. He's the favorite on this card. And I don't know. Marlon Vera, although he is on a win streak, his career has just been so up and down. He's not a new guy whatsoever. Been in the UFC since 2014. I'm going to go with Song Yadong by knockout.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad pick. I don't know, especially all the stuff that Chito Vera is going with right now. Just kind of up in the air. Who's he going to fight? Long training camp. Maybe he's a little exhausted. I'll go with Chito Vera. I don't know. I'm not super confident in that one. It's kind of another weird card. We're going to make some picks, but I'm going to go with Chito Vera here.
All right. So I have Yadong. You have Marlon Vera. Next fight, we got Eric Anders versus Krzysztof Jotko. I remember when Anders was coming up, he was built up as this really good athlete. He was a Alabama football player, chose to go the MMA route, and started off really hot, beating Rafael Nadal and Marcus Perez. Then in 2018, ran into Thiago Santos, which kind of derailed him. But then Santos ended up being a really good fighter, and look where he is now. But then he lost to Elias Theodorez, which really kind of derailed him because, in my opinion, Elias Theodorez isn't very good. And then he lost to Khalil Roundtree. Recently is coming off of victories over Vinicius Moreira and Gerald Meerschaert, who I think Meerschaert's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, win over Meerschaert, that's a good win. And the loss to Roundtree, I think Roundtree is kind of underrated. So,
and then Anders, he is 33, but he's still young in the game. Like, he's getting better every time he fights. He's still even when he fought Thiago Santos, he was still learning the sport. So I think this will probably be the best Eric Anders we've seen. Jotko, kind of similar career to Marlon Vera. He's been in the UFC for a very long time, had a really up and down career, but he's put it together in the last year. Got wins coming off of Alan Amedovski, some guy I don't know, and Marc-Andre Barriault. Kind of the theme of Jotko's career is he can beat the guys that nobody knows, and then when they, give him big names, he ends up getting beat up. This fight, I don't know. It's, like I said, 2 up and down guys. I'm gonna go with Jotko. What?
I was gonna say I'm going with Anders.
I'm gonna go with Jotko.
It's another one. I'm like,
just because I don't know. He's a lot more experienced. I think he's more well-rounded, and I think Anders is one of those types of guys that he will beat. It's not a really good guy or a big name, but he's okay, and those are kind of the guys that Jotko has been beating. And I think Jotko's fought way better competition than Anders. Like, I don't know. I don't have a great reason why I'm picking him, but I'm going to pick him.
Yeah, this reminds me of last week, or Wednesday, the fights for Wednesday, where we're just like, these are tough fights, they're weird matchups, kind of out of nowhere. I'm going to give you this guy. And I mean, I won last week, or I won Wednesday, so I'm gonna keep on, and I'm gonna go with Anders.
Dude has one good, beats me one time in predictions
I win all the time.
in the history of the podcast.
I win all the time, and I won last time, and I'm gonna win this time. I'm gonna go with Anders. I feel like somebody's just gonna get knocked out in this fight. It could be either one of them. That's my prediction.
All right, I got a better understanding of the next three though. Bigger names, fights that make a little bit more sense. We got Danny Aj facing Barboza in his featherweight debut. One thing that has kind of hurt Barboza in his career, I feel a little bit, has been conditioning. So it's going to be strange to see how he does at a lower weight, if he's going to be in better shape or worse shape. I thought he was a big lightweight, so him going down.
I haven't seen what he looked like at weigh-ins. Did he look okay?
Yeah, he didn't look that bad.
I bet he looked super skinny.
I didn't think he looked that bad at all. But yeah, Barboza's been a guy that's fought at the top forever. Danny Aj, kind of a newer guy in the UFC, up and comer. He's only been in the UFC since 2018. He's 3-1. It looks like. No, he's 4-1. He just beat Mirsad Bektic, so that's really a big win. Outside of that, I'm not familiar with any of the guys he's beaten or fought in general. So really, he just has one fight that's kind of catapulted him to get this opportunity. It's a big fight for him to make a name for himself. Everybody in MMA knows Edson Barboza. Barboza hasn't looked bad, in my opinion, in his last few fights. He's been losing, but I still think he looks fine. His last fight, he lost to Paul Felder, a fight which
we thought he won that one.
Definitely thought he won. I didn't think it was close, and it lost me about $1,200.
Well, you didn't bet $1,200. You would have won that much, right?
Yeah, if that was the only fight on the parlay I missed, and he fucking won the fight, and then give it to him. And then besides that, got knocked out by Gaethje, and then in 2018 he beat Dan Hooker. So I don't know. He still obviously has that knockout power. He kicks hard as hell. I think the real thing in this fight that's going to determine if he can win is his conditioning and how his body is able to react to weighing so low.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's going to just be weird seeing Barboza at 145. As long as he can handle that weight cut, which from what you said, he didn't look like he had problems. I haven't seen him, but I think he'll do fine at 145. Seems like a pretty winnable fight for Barboza. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with Barboza here.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go with Barboza by finish, probably by knockout.
I got to assume he's a favorite.
Yeah, I've picked all the favorites so far.
Okay. I haven't looked at any of the odds.
Yeah. So, next fight, we got Claudia Gadelha facing off against Angela Hill. I don't think this is that hard of a fight to pick, but I've seen people picking Angela Hill. I think Claudia Gadelha is going to run through her. Claudia Gadelha is probably one of the best female fighters of all time, in my opinion. She's fought all the best girls. She's beaten a lot of them. Even recently, like, she's lost a fight or two, but not to anybody bad, and she's been winning most of her fights. In 2019, she beat Randa Marcos. In 2018, she did lose to Nina Ansaroff, but she beat Carla Esparza. She lost to Andrade, but she beat Carolina. So, I mean, she's up and down a little bit right now, beating the best and losing to the best. But I just don't think Angela Hill's that good. She's been fighting a ton lately. And
she's on a little bit of a roll. That's probably why people are going with her.
Not against good people, though. Like, I don't know any of these people that she's beaten.
On 3-fight win streak?
She beat Luma Lockboonme, Hannah Cyphers, and Ariana Carnolosi.
I don't know.
Never heard of any of them.
I'm definitely going with Claudia. I mean, the wrestling's going to help her. I think I just think all around she's a better fighter. Angela Hill, she's getting a little pop right now, but I mean, I just don't think she's on the same level. We'll see, but yeah, Claudia should.
I think Claudia finishes her.
She might, or she's either going to finish her, or I think it's going to be a pretty dominant decision.
Yeah, I mean, she hits harder, she wrestles better, she's better on the ground. Like, I'd be very surprised if she lost this fight.
But if Angela Hill can pull that off, then that's a pretty big one for her. But I don't think she will.
Then finally, main event: Alistair Overeem versus Walt Harris. I like this fight. It's pretty good. Overeem, a legend in the sport. I thought he looked really good his last fight until the last 5 seconds when he got knocked out by Rosenstrike. But, I mean, that whole fight, he looked really good. The fight before that, he starched Alexei Oleinik. The fight before that, he knocked out Sergei Pavlovich. Like, I mean, he's still good. He's not bad, and I feel like people are really underestimating him. Walt Harris is the favorite in this fight, and he, like a few other guys on this card, I feel like this is a common theme. He beats the guys he should beat, and then when he fights the best guys, he loses. Like, he beat Alexei Oleinik in 12 seconds, knocked him out and tore his ACL. It's a great win. Beat Sergei Spivak, beat Danny Spitz, but he lost him. Well, I guess he got disqualified against Mark Godbeer. But the fight I remember most was he got demolished by Fabricio Verdum, like taken down and submitted super quick.
Verdum's a beast.
I mean, they're both stand-up guys, which it's hard for me to pick against Alistair Overeem in a fight like that. He's a better striker. There's no doubt about it. The only thing that Walt Harris has is power, and Overeem has a pretty weak chin. But I don't think Walt Harris is on that level right now where he can land that big strike against Overeem before he gets smacked in the body a few times. And I don't know. I could see Walt Harris knocking him out, but I'm going to go with Overeem. I think Overeem's going to be too much for him.
Did you say Walt Harris is a favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of surprising. So yeah, Walt Harris is coming back. Obviously, he just had that big tragedy. People are talking about that a lot. We won't really get into that, but it would be really cool to see him get a win here. Yeah, like you said, Overeem definitely has a terrible chin right now, and Walt Harris hits really hard. So if he connects, he can definitely knock him out. Overeem can do the same thing to him. I mean, he hits really hard too. Overeem, he should be the better fighter here. Seems like in his fights lately he gets a little lazy.
He's been doing that forever.
Yeah. He gets lazy here, and if he does that against Harris, then, I mean, he probably could get in some trouble. Especially Harris. I don't know. I feel like he's going to start off fighting, smart, and I think eventually he's just going to let go and try to get him. But I'm going to go with Harris. Why not?
Yeah.
I can see him definitely knocking Overeem out. That makes a lot of sense.
The thing with me on this is, though, like, Rosenstrike, I think, is a way better striker than Walt Harris, and it took him 24 minutes and 55 seconds to find that shot. I don't know if Walt Harris is ever going to be able to find that shot.
Yeah.
And although Overeem does get knocked out sometimes, it's not against guys like this. It's against really good guys.
Yeah.
So
you should pick Overeem. That seems like the smart pick.
But he's not he's the underdog in this one. So
yeah, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was short, to the point. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a card that we really have a lot to break down. It's a lot of names that, like I said, there's a common theme of it's just kind of average fighters that win a few, then they lose a few. They beat some guys that they should beat, and then they fight top 10 guys and they get beat up. It's kind of the theme of the card. So, I mean, it's hard to predict. All these guys, these are literally like the most unpredictable fighters in the UFC. They go on a streak, and then they go on a losing streak.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just glad that there's fights. I'm glad these guys are getting their fights since a lot of them have been getting canceled. Is UFC 250 next week? Is that a week from now?
It's June 6th.
Is that...
That's like a month. It's like half a month away.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah. So it's the last card we have for a while.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to keep it going.
And that card is awful as of now.
Yeah, I have to assume that they're going to be making some announcements for that because it seems like a lot of people are wanting to fight.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they need to. So I'm sure they'll get some better fights for that. See John Jones and Ngannou going back and forth on Twitter.
That'd be awesome.
I think they'll make it.
They got to.
Because if you're going to think they're going to do DC and Stipe, then Ngannou's just sitting there waiting. Him fighting John Jones, I mean, Ngannou, if there's ever a chance to beat John Jones right now.
Yeah. And there's no fights at light heavyweight that people really want to see John Jones in. Like, some people are interested in Dominic Reyes, but I think everybody would rather see Ngannou. Nobody wants to watch him fight Jan Blachowicz, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely want him and Ngannou, and if they both want the fight, like it seems like they do, I mean, I'm sure Dana wants that fight. Why would anybody not want that fight? Yeah. Let's make that happen. Yeah. And if Jones is in shape, they could go by then. And Ngannou just got done fighting, and it took him like 10 seconds.
They won't be on that card though.
I'm sure they won't, but
they got Nunes on that to headline, and Jones and Ngannou's going to be a headliner. Like, there's no way it's not.
Oh, They can make Nunes. I think they even actually announced Nunes as the co-main event, even though they haven't announced a main event. They would put them on the same card, no problem.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. John, that's definitely going to be a fight that John wants a lot of time to prepare for.
Yeah.
He's not going to take that on short notice.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't, but he should. I want to see it right now.
Yeah. But there's our predictions. We can't really give you a parlay or nothing for that because we both picked completely different. So pretty much just bet how you want that. I picked all the favorites except one. He picked all, like, pretty much underdogs except one. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You got anything?
No.
Right.
That's good.
Check us out on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Rivalry MMA. I promise our previews and predictions are usually better than this, but like I said, this card's just kind of trash and nothing to get excited about. So,
I'm still gonna get hammered and watch it. So
yeah. So we'll see you guys. We'll probably do a breakdown or a recap of all the fights of the last week because we didn't do one for Wednesday. So after this, we'll probably do one for all those fights.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. We actually have MMA news now, so we'll be making videos more often.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys after the fights.